Aloha and welcome to my channel, Astrology Dome. My name is Galit, and today I'm going to talk to you about the solar eclipse happening on April 19, 2023 at 9:12 p.m. Pacific Daytime. It's an interesting eclipse. It's an interesting season of eclipses that we're having this year. Every eclipse season is interesting and bringing an immense amount of energy, but this one in particular is important because 2023 is the year of the shift. Pluto went into Aquarius on March 23rd, and Saturn went into Pisces on March 7th. So we're experiencing this eclipse season with the backdrop story of a whole new era, Pluto in Aquarius, which will continue until 2044. So this is a whole new vibration and energetic vortex that we're living in. And this is the preview. This is the beginning of this long transit of Pluto in Aquarius, ushering us into the age of Aquarius. So this eclipse season is the first eclipse season actually with Pluto in Aquarius. What an exciting moment in time. Now, eclipses are happening when the sun and the moon's path are crossing and when they are close either to the north node, where we're going to have a solar eclipse, or to the south node, when we have a lunar eclipse, which is a full moon. A solar eclipse is a new moon. A lunar eclipse is a full moon. So I'm going to talk to you about the solar eclipse that's happening on the 19th at 29 degrees of Aries. So first of all, it's a new moon, right? A new moon on steroid. It's just stronger than a regular new moon, but it's still, the vibration is of a new beginning. However, it is happening at 29 degrees of a sign, of a cardinal sign of Aries. This is the anuretic degree. It means that this eclipse is bringing a huge closure as well as a huge beginning. Usually, a solar eclipse is a new beginning, a new moon. But this one is also bringing up a closure because it's in the 29th degrees of the sign. Now, this is the second new moon that we're having in Aries. It's a rare occasion. It does happen once in a while, but this year we're having it, we're experiencing. A month ago, we had a new moon at 0 degree Aries, a baby new beginning, because it's in the beginning of the sign. So it's a fresh new beginning. Who are you? Redefining yourself. But this one that we're experiencing now with the solar eclipse is at 29 degrees, meaning you have kind of matured in your Aries house, in your Aries department, wherever that is in your chart, and you are wiser now. And you know what it is that you need to leave behind you in order to become that new version of yourself that you are becoming. So this is a more mature new moon solar eclipse, new beginning, because you already know much more than you knew a month ago. Can you imagine how much you have grown within 1 month? Can you see how much you have grown in the last year, in the last few years? You're not the same person. We are experiencing an acceleration in our evolution, and the rate of change that we're experiencing is incredible. We are constantly evolving to become a new version of ourselves. Now, on the one hand, this is really exhilarating and exciting. On the other hand, this is really scary because we are constantly needing to adapt to new situations, new environments, and new behaviors. And we are constantly leaving behind parts of ourselves that were so familiar to us, and parts of ourselves and parts of our environment that supplied us with some sort of security. So excitement and evolution. On the other hand, a bit of fear and apprehension to leave the old world in the past. So this is where we are in this fork in the road of evolution as a collective and as individuals. And we are all feeling that. We're all feeling that we are being pushed towards redefining self to the higher degree of our evolutionary path and leaving behind trauma, fear, and chaos. And this is happening because of the nodes. The nodes currently for the collective. The North Node is in Taurus, and it's going to be conjunct this solar eclipse. So this solar eclipse is actually a preview to the future, saying this is where you need to go. This is the path for you, your evolutionary path. This is where you're going. These are the lessons that you're learning. This is your karmic pathway journey in order to become that new evolved self. I'm going to share the chart for the eclipse and show you what's going on. So let's dive into that together. Here's the chart for the solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries, happening on April 19 at 9:12 p.m. Pacific Daytime. Well, right away, you can see all this stellium here in Aries Taurus, right? This is very noticeable. So we have the sun and the moon at 29 degrees and 50 minutes. That means few hours after the eclipse is happening, the sun will transit into Taurus. So it is coming to make a point, create a vortex, still in Aries, because Aries is all about you taking initiative, about you becoming more independent. With Chiron in Aries, we are all healing our identity. We are shifting from one way of being into a new identity. And I think it's really important to note where is your North Node and South Node in your particular chart. In the case of the collective, the North Node is in Taurus, the South Node is in Scorpio. But you have your personal North Node and South Node somewhere in your chart. And the South Node is always where we come from. This is our past conditioning. This is the memories and the abilities and the things that we do so well and so used to are represented by our South Node. However, our life lesson, our karmic evolutionary path lies within our North Node. This is where we're heading towards. So if you can take a look in your chart and study a little bit about your South Node and your North Node, you would get the understanding of where you're coming from and where you're heading towards. And in this eclipse season, I highly recommend that you use the energies to propel yourself from your South Node into your North Node, so you can be taking more steps towards your personal evolution, because we're all defining self right now. We have Chiron in Aries, self-definition, self-identity, healing that wound relating to who am I. So discovering more of who you are, what your gifts are, and what you can attribute to others. What can you teach others, especially in regards to the collective. Pluto just went into Aquarius, so we are all being geared up into contributing to our community, to the collective, to the group. How can you bring your gift to the group and become a leader in what you do, however, for the greater good of all? Pluto is actually squaring the eclipse. If Pluto was at 29 degrees Capricorn for a while, we'll go back to that degree on June 11, regressing back into Capricorn, because Pluto will visit Capricorn for a few more times until it will ingress into Aquarius for the rest of its 21 years transit in Aquarius, only at the end of 2024. So all this time between 2023 and 2024, Pluto will square this point of eclipse at 29 degrees from cardinal to cardinal, requiring us to take action. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, and its transition through Capricorn since 2008 was a major transition to show us the shadow parts of our system, what is not working, what is corrupted in our system, what is too old and need updates. You know, our systems, just like our computers and phones, need updates. And when we don't update the system will collapse, the system will show malfunctions, and the system will show us where it needs an update, and urgently so. You can see what's going on around the world. People are protesting in the streets for equal rights. People are protesting because they are tired of having leaders that are corrupted and using the people for their own personal gains. And we see it in many, many countries around the globe. And the people are saying, no more. We don't want this kind of oppression. We want to be free. We want to have a society that is by the people, for the people. And this is not unusual, because whenever Pluto goes into Aquarius, and we saw it at the time of the French Revolution and the time of the 13 colonies creating United States as we know it today, Pluto was in Aquarius. So this is another round of Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years of us redefining our independence, redefining what it is that we want to do here in this lifetime, redefining ourselves as species, as human species, and what does it mean to be an individual, and what does it mean to contribute my part, your part, into the greater good of all, into the collective. But back to the eclipse, I'm just giving you that backdrop story so you know why you see what you see around the world, why there are wars and uprisings, because we are tired of the old ways of being. And this is tying up to the eclipses. The eclipses are happening usually near the nodes, and the nodes are changing signs every year and a half. Now, the nodes are retrograding in nature. So they're soon going to be done with the axis of Taurus and Scorpio that they have occupied for the last year and a half, and they will move into the axis of Aries and Libra. Now, the nodes in Scorpio and Taurus, their job was, the North nodes in Taurus said, you got to clean up nature, Taurus, and you got to clean up the financial system and make it more stable, and you got to find out how it is possible for you to become more sustainable and more secure. This is the North Node in Taurus. This is where we're all heading. And I'm sure you've been experiencing this in your life. The South Node in Scorpio said, well, you have a lot of skeletons in your closet, and they gotta come out. All the trauma and the chaos and the pain and the drama and the corruption has to come up to the surface, shadow, Scorpio, and we got to clean it up, because Pluto is showing us where we have to have death and rebirth. The death is necessary for the cleanup, to create the rebirth. So all this transition of the South Node in Scorpio, we all experienced a huge amount of trauma, ancestral trauma, betrayal, mistrust in the system, mistrust in people, fear of being controlled by others. All those are South Node in Scorpio. Those are the vibrations. So we're all cleaning it up. And you know how it is when you have a wound that is infected, you gotta clean out the pus in order to heal the wound. And this is what we've been going through in the past few years. And you've been feeling it. Everybody has been feeling it. The good news is all this is about to change once the nodes are transitioning into Aries Libra very soon, and they're going to stay in the Aries Libra axis for the next year and a half, helping us shift our perspective into relationship and self-identity. So the Aries North Node will be here saying, how can you become that leader that you came here to be? What do you need to reinvent yourself, to reconfigure yourself? How can you step up and take leadership and take your position in society in the way that you shine with your greatest gift? However, you also give it to others in communities, coming together with others in order to enhance their life, therefore contributing to us as a collective, as a whole, but also contributing to your life path, to your karmic lesson, learning another lesson in your personal evolution. So this is going to be prevalent on the planet, and we're going to see a lot of new initiatives and new leaders, especially young new leaders that are coming to the forefront to lead with the new message. The Libra South Node right here will be saying, okay, we let go of the trauma, but now we have to take a look at our relationship and realize there's always, eclipses are always a time of revelation. Realize what are the relationships that have held us back, because we get attached to things, and we got attached to some relationships, especially with maybe significant others, maybe with family, maybe with the system, with ideas about relationship with our system and the way we govern ourselves. Maybe we got attached to some things that are outdated and no longer serve us. Maybe we need to reinvent some of those relationships, especially the relationship with ourselves, because sometimes we can get attached to a certain image that we have on what this relationship with ourselves should be. And maybe it needs to have a recheck. And maybe we need to look at some of those definitions and old beliefs and check if they're working for us for this particular time or not. So this eclipse, the first eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries, is really, really important because it's the first eclipse in the new set of Aries Libra that is going to happen. And eclipses are only happening near the nodes. So for the last year and a half, we're experiencing eclipses in the axis of Taurus and Scorpio, which brought a lot of pain. Now we're shifting to experience eclipses in the axis of Libra and Aries. This will shift us. So at the time of the eclipse, we have 4 planets in Aries, and we have 2 planets in Taurus and the North Node in Taurus. So we have a lot of energy of Taurus and Aries. Now, the eclipse itself is in Aries, ruled by Mars. Mars is in Cancer. Mars in Cancer is a fierce protector of family and safety. So we all are concerned about our safety, about our emotions, about our family and who we belong to. But we also are very sensitive, so we can be reactive. Pay attention, don't get too reactive. React sensibly. Cancer is that sign that is a protective sign. It has this shell that is protecting, and you can be activated in places where you feel less secure. So just pay attention, because eclipse season will bring you huge revelations in order for you to upgrade, to take a look at things and upgrade them. That's why we get to see things. And this can be a realization that comes abruptly and unexpectedly with Uranus conjunct Mercury here. So we can just download energetic information, and suddenly the information would be there unexpectedly and will make us more awake, more aware. The ruler of Taurus is Venus, and she's in Gemini, supplying us with all the information that we need currently in order to move forward. She's also in a square position to Saturn in Pisces, which teaches us lessons in faith, trust, and spirituality, tapping into our compassionate self, and maybe learning to trust the universe, trust life, trust the process more than we ever have, learning to trust ourselves more than before. I'm going to stop sharing this because I think you got the gist of the chart. So I think we're living in a very exciting time on the planet. I know that there is a lot of chaos and a lot of pain currently on the planet, and in the collective and in our personal lives. There are people that live in war at the moment. There are people that don't have clean water yet. And we are shifting as a collective, hopefully, to find solutions and better solutions. And there are so many new initiatives, good new initiatives on the planet for sustainable life, for creating more modalities to enhance our life and longevity, for creating more equality, for bringing water and food to those who need, for creating new ways of making government and rulership, and for creating maybe new solutions to our financial system. We're seeing so many new inventions for medicine, less invasive medical abilities, light therapies. We're understanding what water is and how it's important to our lifeline, Saturn in Pisces. So we are living in an accelerated time. AI will bring us probably more solution. Technology is going to expand. Pluto in Aquarius will bring us immense amount of inventions And we're going to see so many changes that we cannot even imagine what's going to happen in 10 years or in 20 years during that transit of Pluto in Aquarius. But this eclipse season right here, right now, especially this new eclipse in Aries, is a preview to what's coming up. And so pay attention to what shows up in your life. It will show you what is outdated, what you need to update in your life. And it is bringing up some pain points because we don't like to change things so much. We're creatures of habits, creatures of security, and we don't like abrupt changes. So be compassionate to yourself. Embrace yourself. Spend more time in nature. Taurus, North Node in Taurus. Meditate more, connect to yourself, regulate your nervous system, go do a massage, spend time in the ocean, do something that grounds you. That's the North Node in Taurus, grounding. We need more grounding, each and every one of us. And practice more self-love and self-care and be compassionate to yourself and to others. We're all in it together. We're all going through this transition. And we're all feeling the pain on one hand and the excitement on the other hand of the new world, the new change that is coming. However, letting go of the old ways of being, the old self, old relationships, old places, old belongings, is not an easy transition. But you may find that some of it is really necessary in order to grow, in order to evolve to the next version of yourself. So I wish you an easy transition. The first eclipse is going to take place, solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries. However, the lunar eclipse would be the last eclipse in Scorpio, bringing up a closure, a huge closure to a big pain that we were kind of cleaning up. However, it may feel strong and intense, but just know that it's for a good purpose. So you're not having to carry any more pain with you, and you can set yourself free from within your emotional body. And this is really important because our emotional body is the body that pushes us to take action. So if we are tied up with old beliefs and old patterns in our emotional body, we are not moving in the right direction for our personal evolution, or we're moving from old parts of ourselves. So it is really imperative that we clean up the old and we allow the new to come in. You know, they say when you close one door, 7 new doors are opening. So this is where we are in our point of evolution at the moment. In that threshold between closing the door and stepping into all those new doors, new opportunities that are showing up, and they will show up. The window of opportunity is there for you. Are you going to be ready to take the opportunity? So I hope this video helped you in clarifying where we are, why we're experiencing what we experience. I wish you an easy transition through this eclipse season and many revelations, important revelations for you. And as always, please take care of yourself and become the best version of yourself today and every day. I will see you next time.